Question 1. Flumazenil, Romazicon, has been ordered for a male client who has overdosed on oxazepam, Cirax. Before administering the medication, Nurse Gina should be prepared for which common adverse effect? A. Seizures. B. Shivering. C. Anxiety. D. Chest pain. Correct answer, A. Seizures. Question 1 Explanation. Seizures are the most common serious adverse effect of using flumazenil to reverse benzodiazepine overdose. The effect is magnified if the client has a combined tricyclic antidepressant and benzodiazepine overdose. Benzodiazepine reversal has correlations with seizures. Seizures may happen more frequently in patients who have been on benzodiazepines for long-term sedation or in patients who are showing signs of severe tricyclic antidepressant overdose. The required dosage of flumazenil should be measured and prepared by the practitioners to manage seizures. Flumazenil use requires caution in patients relying on a benzodiazepine for seizure control. Question 2. Nurse Tamara is caring for a client diagnosed with bulimia. The most appropriate initial goal for a client diagnosed with bulimia is to A. Avoid shopping for large amounts of food. B. Control eating impulses. C. Identify anxiety-causing situations. D. Eat only 3 meals per day. Correct answer, C. Identify anxiety-causing situations. Question 2 Explanation. Bulimic behavior is generally a maladaptive coping response to stress and underlying issues. The client must identify anxiety-causing situations that stimulate the bulimic behavior and then learn new ways of coping with the anxiety. Bulimia nervosa is a condition that occurs most commonly in adolescent females, characterized by indulgence in binge eating and inappropriate compensatory behaviors to prevent weight gain. Question 3. A female client who's at high risk for suicide needs close supervision. To best ensure the client's safety, Nurse Mary should A. Check the client frequently at irregular intervals throughout the night. B. Assure the client that the nurse will hold in confidence anything the client says. C. Repeatedly discuss previous suicide attempts with the client. D. Disregard decreased communication by the client because this is common with suicidal clients. Correct answer, A. Check the client frequently at irregular intervals throughout the night. Question 3 Explanation. Checking the client frequently but at irregular intervals prevents the client from predicting when observation will take place and altering behavior in a misleading way at these times. Once the patient is deemed to be at risk for suicide, then intervention steps must be initiated right away. The individual must not be left alone. Enlist the help of a support person while at home. The suicidal individual must be treated in a safe and secure place. In addition, the place has to be monitored. Question 4. Which of the following drugs should Nurse Mary prepare to administer to a client with a toxic acetaminophen, Tylenol, level? A. Deferoxamine mesylate, Desferal. B. Succimer, Kemet. C. Flumazenil, Romazicon. D. Acetylcysteine, Mucomyst. Correct answer, D. Acetylcysteine, Mucomyst. Question 4 Explanation. The antidote for acetaminophen toxicity is acetylcysteine. It enhances conversion of toxic metabolites to non-toxic metabolites. Acetaminophen, N-acetylparaminophenol, paracetamol, APAP, toxicity is common primarily because the medication is so readily available, and there is a perception that it is very safe. More than 60 million Americans consume acetaminophen on a weekly basis. All patients with high levels of acetaminophen need admission and treatment with N-acetylcysteine, NAC. This agent is fully protective against liver toxicity if given within 8 hours after ingestion. Question 5. A male client is admitted to the substance abuse unit for alcohol detoxification. Which of the following medications is Nurse Alice most likely to administer to reduce the symptoms of alcohol withdrawal? A. Naloxone, Narcan. B. Haloperidol, Haldol. C. Magnesium sulfate. D. Chlorodiazepoxide, Librium. Correct answer, D. Chlorodiazepoxide, Librium. Question 5 Explanation. Chlorodiazepoxide, Librium, and other tranquilizers help reduce the symptoms of alcohol withdrawal. Chlorodiazepoxide is a long-acting benzodiazepine and is an FDA-approved medication for adults with mild moderate to severe anxiety disorder, preoperative apprehension and anxiety, and withdrawal symptoms of acute alcohol use disorder. Chlorodiazepoxide has anti-anxiety, sedative, appetite-stimulating, and weak analgesic actions. It binds to benzodiazepine receptors at the GABA-A ligand-gated chloride channel complex and enhances GABA's inhibitory effects. Question 6. During postprandial monitoring, a female client with bulimia nervosa tells the nurse, "You can sit with me, but you're just wasting your time. After you had sat with me yesterday, I was still able to purge. Today, my goal is to do it twice." What is the nurse's best response? A. I trust you not to purge. B. How are you purging and when do you do it? C. Don't worry. I won't allow you to purge today. D. I know it's important for you to feel in control, but I'll monitor you for 90 minutes after you eat. Correct answer, D. I know it's important for you to feel in control, but I'll monitor you for 90 minutes after you eat. Question 6 explanation. This response acknowledges that the client is testing limits and that the nurse is setting them by performing postprandial monitoring to prevent self-induced emesis. Clients with bulimia nervosa need to feel in control of the diet because they feel they lack control over all other aspects of their lives. Since recovery involves patients having to face their deepest, most painful, and traumatic thoughts and emotions, supporting them as they go through treatment can be emotionally challenging for nurses. This emotional challenge can be exacerbated when the patient has also been diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, depression, or substance abuse, as these may require more intensive one-to-one support. Question 7. A male client admitted to the psychiatric unit for treatment of substance abuse says to the nurse, "It felt so wonderful to get high." Which of the following is the most appropriate response? A. If you continue to talk like that, I'm going to stop speaking to you. B. You told me you got fired from your last job for missing too many days after taking drugs all night. C. Tell me more about how it felt to get high. D. Don't you know it's illegal to use drugs? Correct answer, B. You told me you got fired from your last job for missing too many days after taking drugs all night. Question 7 explanation. Confronting the client with the consequences of substance abuse helps to break through denial. Present reality by spending time with the client to facilitate reality orientation because your physical presence is the reality. Be simple, direct, and concise when speaking to the client. Talk with the client about concrete or familiar things, avoid ideological or theoretical discussions. The client's ability to process abstractions or complexities is impaired. Question 8. For a female client with anorexia nervosa, Nurse Jimmy is aware that which goal takes the highest priority? A. The client will establish adequate daily nutritional intake. B. The client will make a contract with a nurse that sets a target weight. C. The client will identify self-perceptions about body size as unrealistic. D. The client will verbalize the possible physiological consequences of self-starvation. Correct answer, A. The client will establish adequate daily nutritional intake. Question 8 explanation. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all humans need to meet basic physiological needs first. Because a client with anorexia nervosa eats little or nothing, the nurse must first plan to help the client meet this basic, immediate physiological need. Treatment for anorexia nervosa is centered on nutrition rehabilitation and psychotherapy. Refeeding syndrome can occur following prolonged starvation. As the body utilizes glucose to produce molecules of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, it depletes the remaining stores of phosphorus. Also, glucose entry into cells is mediated by insulin and occurs rapidly following long periods without food. Both cause electrolyte abnormalities such as hypophosphatemia and hypokalemia, triggering cardiac and respiratory compromise. Patients should be followed carefully for signs of refeeding syndrome and electrolytes closely monitored. Question 9. When interviewing the parents of an injured child, which of the following is the strongest indicator that child abuse may be a problem? A. The injury is inconsistent with the history or the child's age. B. The mother and father tell different stories regarding what happened. C. The family is poor. D. The parents are argumentative and demanding with emergency department personnel. Correct answer, A. The injury is inconsistent with the history or the child's age. Question 9 explanation. When the child's injuries are inconsistent with the history given or impossible because of the child's age and developmental stage, the emergency department nurse should be suspicious that child abuse is occurring. Physical indicators may include injuries to a child that are severe, occur in a pattern or occur frequently. These injuries range from bruises to broken bones to burns or unusual lacerations. The child may present for care unrelated to the abuse, and the abuse may be found incidentally. Question 10. For a female client with anorexia nervosa, Nurse Rose plans to include the parents in therapy sessions along with the client. What facts should the nurse remember to be typical of parents of clients with anorexia nervosa? A. They tend to overprotect their children. B. They usually have a history of substance abuse. C. They maintain emotional distance from their children. D. They alternate between loving and rejecting their children. Correct answer: A. They tend to overprotect their children. Question 10. Explanation. Clients with anorexia nervosa typically come from a family with parents who are controlling and overprotective. These clients use eating to gain control of an aspect of their lives. Similarly, issues like anxiety, depression, and addiction can also run in families, and have also been found to increase the chances that a person will develop an eating disorder. Many people with anorexia report that, as children, they always followed the rules and felt there was one right way to do things. Question 11. In the emergency department, a client with facial lacerations states that her husband beat her with a shoe. After the healthcare team repairs her lacerations, she waits to be seen by the crisis intake nurse, who will evaluate the continued threat of violence. Suddenly the client's husband arrives, shouting that he wants to finish the job. What is the first priority of the healthcare worker who witnesses this scene? A. Remaining with the client and staying calm. B. Calling a security guard and another staff member for assistance. C. Telling the client's husband that he must leave at once. D. Determining why the husband feels so angry. Correct answer: B. Calling a security guard and another staff member for assistance. Question 11. Explanation. The healthcare worker who witnesses this scene must take precautions to ensure personal as well as client safety but shouldn't attempt to manage a physically aggressive person alone. Therefore, the first priority is to call a security guard and another staff member. Domestic violence is defined as a pattern of abusive behaviors by one partner against another in an intimate relationship such as marriage, dating, family, or cohabitation. In this definition, domestic violence takes many forms, including physical aggression or assault, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, controlling or domineering behavior, intimidation, stalking, passive/covert abuse, and economic deprivation. Question 12. Nurse Mary is caring for a client with bulimia. Strict management of dietary intake is necessary. Which intervention is also important? A. Fill out the client's menu and make sure she eats at least half of what is on her tray. B. Let the client eat her meals in private. Then engage her in social activities for at least 2 hours after each meal. C. Let the client choose her own food. If she eats everything she orders, then stay with her for 1 hour after each meal. D. Let the client eat food brought in by the family if she chooses, but she should keep a strict calorie count. Correct answer: C. Let the client choose her own food. If she eats everything she orders, then stay with her for 1 hour after each meal. Question 12. Explanation. Allowing the client to select her own food from the menu will help her feel some sense of control. Assisting patients to remain strong and adhere to treatment requires nurses to develop a relationship that is caring, empathetic and trusting, and in line with the person-centered approach to care. Patients affected by eating disorders require individualized support to better understand their condition, rediscover their identity, learn to accept themselves, enhance a positive body image and sense of self-worth, and achieve a balance in their lives so that they can move towards better health and well-being. Question 13. Nurse Mary is assigned to care for a suicidal client. Initially, which is the nurse's highest care priority? A. Assessing the client's home environment and relationships outside the hospital. B. Exploring the nurse's own feelings about suicide. C. Discussing the future with the client. D. Referring the client to a clergy person to discuss the moral implications of suicide. Correct answer: B. Exploring the nurse's own feelings about suicide. Question 13. Explanation. The nurse's values, beliefs, and attitudes toward self-destructive behavior influence responses to a suicidal client. Such responses set the overall mood for the nurse-client relationship. Therefore, the nurse initially must explore personal feelings about suicide to avoid conveying negative feelings to the client. Question 14. A 24-year-old client with anorexia nervosa tells the nurse, "When I look in the mirror, I hate what I see. I look so fat and ugly." Which strategy should the nurse use to deal with the client's distorted perceptions and feelings? A. Avoid discussing the client's perceptions and feelings. B. Focused discussions on food and weight. C. Avoid discussing unrealistic cultural standards regarding weight. D. Provide objective data and feedback regarding the client's weight and attractiveness. Correct answer: D. Provide objective data and feedback regarding the client's weight and attractiveness. Question 14. Explanation. By focusing on reality, this strategy may help the client develop a more realistic body image and gain self-esteem. Anorexia nervosa is an eating disorder defined by restriction of energy intake relative to requirements, leading to a significantly low body weight. Patients will have an intense fear of gaining weight and distorted body image with the inability to recognize the seriousness of their significantly low body weight. The mental health nurse should educate the patient on changes in behavior, easing stress, and overcoming any emotional issues. Question 15. Nurse Alice is caring for a client being treated for alcoholism. Before initiating therapy with disulfiram, antabuse, the nurse teaches the client that he must read labels carefully on which of the following products: A. Carbonated beverages. B. Aftershave lotion. C. Toothpaste. D. Cheese. Correct answer: B. Aftershave lotion. Question 15. Explanation. Disulfiram may be given to clients with chronic alcohol abuse who wish to curb impulse drinking. Disulfiram works by blocking the oxidation of alcohol, inhibiting the conversion of acetaldehyde to acetate. As acetaldehyde builds up in the blood, the client experiences noxious and uncomfortable symptoms. Even alcohol rubbed onto the skin can produce a reaction. The client receiving disulfiram must be taught to read ingredient labels carefully to avoid products containing alcohol such as aftershave lotions. Close monitoring of adverse events is necessary, in particular, in patients with polysubstance abuse. Patients taking disulfiram require monitoring for signs and symptoms of hepatitis, including fatigue, weakness, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, jaundice, malaise, and dark urine. Question 16. Nurse Harry is developing a plan of care for a client with anorexia nervosa. Which action should the nurse include in the plan? A. Restrict visits with the family until the client begins to eat. B. Provide privacy during meals. C. Set up a strict eating plan for the client. D. Encourage the client to exercise, which will reduce her anxiety. Correct answer: C. Set up a strict eating plan for the client. Question 16. Explanation. Establishing a consistent eating plan and monitoring the client's weight is important for this disorder. Establish a minimum weight goal and daily nutritional requirements. Malnutrition is a mood-altering condition, leading to depression and agitation and affecting cognitive function and decision-making. Improved nutritional status enhances thinking ability, allowing initiation of psychological work. Make a selective menu available, and allow the patient to control choices as much as possible. Patient who gains confidence in himself and feels in control of the environment is more likely to eat preferred foods. Question 17. Nurse Taylor is aware that the victims of domestic violence should be assessed for what important information? A. Reasons they stay in the abusive relationship, for example, lack of financial autonomy and isolation. B. Readiness to leave the perpetrator and knowledge of resources. C. Use of drugs or alcohol. D. History of previous victimization. Correct answer: B. Readiness to leave the perpetrator and knowledge of resources. Question 17. Explanation. Victims of domestic violence must be assessed for their readiness to leave the perpetrator and their knowledge of the resources available to them. Nurses can then provide the victims with information and options to enable them to leave when they are ready. Training and support programs for clinicians and administrative staff have been shown to improve identification of women experiencing domestic violence and referral to advocacy services. Use of a domestic violence advocate in the ED resulted in a higher incidence of detection of incidents of acute violence than the data reported in the literature. Question 18. A male client is hospitalized with fractures of the right femur and right humerus sustained in a motorcycle accident. Police suspect the client was intoxicated at the time of the accident. Laboratory tests reveal a blood alcohol level of 0.2%, 200 mg/dl. The client later admits to drinking heavily for years. During hospitalization, the client periodically complains of tingling and numbness in the hands and feet. Nurse John realizes that these symptoms probably result from A. Acetate accumulation. B. Thiamine deficiency. C. Triglyceride buildup. D. A below normal serum potassium level. Correct answer: B. Thiamine deficiency. Question 18. Explanation. Numbness and tingling in the hands and feet are symptoms of peripheral polyneuritis, which results from inadequate intake of vitamin B1, thiamine, secondary to prolonged and excessive alcohol intake. Treatment includes reducing alcohol intake, correcting nutritional deficiencies through diet and vitamin supplements, and preventing such residual disabilities as foot and wrist drop. Question 19. A parent brings a preschooler to the emergency department for treatment of a dislocated shoulder, which allegedly happened when the child fell down the stairs. Which action should make the nurse suspect that the child was abused? A. The child cries uncontrollably throughout the examination. B. The child pulls away from contact with the physician. C. The child doesn't cry when the shoulder is examined. D. The child doesn't make eye contact with the nurse. Correct answer, C. The child doesn't cry when the shoulder is examined. Question 19. Explanation. A characteristic behavior of abused children is the lack of crying when they undergo a painful procedure or are examined by a healthcare professional. Therefore, the nurse should suspect child abuse. Physical abuse may include beating, shaking, burning, and biting. The threshold for defining corporal punishment as abuse is unclear. Rib fractures are found to be the most common finding associated with physical abuse. Any child younger than 2 years old for whom there is a concern of physical abuse should have a skeletal survey. Additionally, any sibling younger than 2 years of age of an abused child should also have a skeletal survey. A skeletal survey consists of 21 dedicated views, as recommended by the American College of Radiology. Question 20. When planning care for a client who has ingested phencyclidine, PCP, Nurse Wayne is aware that the following is the highest priority. A. Client's physical needs. B. Client's safety needs. C. Client's psychosocial needs. D. Client's medical needs. Correct answer, B. Client's safety needs. Question 20. Explanation. The highest priority for a client who has ingested PCP is meeting safety needs of the client as well as the staff. Drug effects are unpredictable and prolonged, and the client may lose control easily. Phencyclidine, PCP, is a dissociative anesthetic that is a commonly used recreational drug. PCP is a crystalline powder that can be ingested orally, injected intravenously, inhaled, or smoked. PCP is available as a powder, crystal, liquid, and tablet. It produces both stimulation and depression of the CNS. PCP is a non-competitive antagonist to the NMDA receptor, which causes analgesia, anesthesia, cognitive defects, and psychosis. Question 21. The nurse is aware that the outcome criteria would be appropriate for a child diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder? A. Accept responsibility for own behaviors. B. Be able to verbalize own needs and assert rights. C. Set firm and consistent limits with the client. D. Allow the child to establish his own limits and boundaries. Correct answer, A. Accept responsibility for own behaviors. Question 21. Explanation. Children with oppositional defiant disorder frequently violate the rights of others. They are defiant, disobedient, and blame others for their actions. Accountability for their actions would demonstrate progress for the oppositional child. Oppositional defiant disorder, ODD, is a type of childhood disruptive behavior disorder that primarily involves problems with the self-control of emotions and behaviors. Question 22. A male client is found sitting on the floor of the bathroom in the day treatment clinic with moderate lacerations on both wrists. Surrounded by broken glass, he sits staring blankly at his bleeding wrists while staff members call for an ambulance. How should Nurse Gina approach her initially? A. Enter the room quietly and move beside him to assess his injuries. B. Call for staff backup before entering the room and restraining him. C. Move as much glass away from him as possible and sit next to him quietly. D. Approach him slowly while speaking in a calm voice, calling his name, and telling him that the nurse is here to help him. Correct answer, D. Approach her slowly while speaking in a calm voice, calling her name, and telling her that the nurse is here to help her. Question 22. Explanation. Ensuring the safety of the client and the nurse is the priority at this time. Therefore, the nurse should approach the client cautiously while calling her name and talking to her in a calm, confident manner. Nursing's hands-on approach to patient care and our ability to create therapeutic connections with patients enables us to pick up on key cues. Identifying these cues starts with understanding that suicidal behaviors are neither considered an illness nor a condition, but rather a complex set of behaviors that actually exists on a continuum that ranges from ideas/thoughts to eventual actions. Question 23. A female client with anorexia nervosa describes herself as a whale. However, the nurse's assessment reveals that the client is 5'8 inches, 1.7 meters, tall and weighs only 90 pounds, 40.8 kilograms. Considering the client's unrealistic body image, which intervention should Nurse Angel be included in the plan of care? A. Asking the client to compare her figure with magazine photographs of women her age. B. Assigning the client to group therapy in which participants provide realistic feedback about her weight. C. Confronting the client about her actual appearance during one-on-one sessions, scheduled during each shift. D. Telling the client of the nurse's concern for her health and desire to help her make decisions to keep her healthy. Correct answer: D. Telling the client of the nurse's concern for her health and desire to help her make decisions to keep her healthy. Question 23. Explanation. A client with anorexia nervosa has an unrealistic body image that causes consumption of little or no food. Therefore, the client needs assistance with making decisions about health. Respond, confront, with reality when a patient makes unrealistic statements. The patient may be denying the psychological aspects of their own situation and is often expressing a sense of inadequacy and depression. Question 24. 18 hours after undergoing an emergency appendectomy, a client with a reported history of social drinking displays these vital signs: temperature, 101.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 38.7 degrees Celsius, heart rate, 126 beats/minute, respiratory rate, 24 breaths/minute, and blood pressure, 140/96 of a millimeter Hg. The client exhibits gross hand tremors and is screaming for someone to kill the bugs in the bed. Nurse Melinda should suspect A. A postoperative infection. B. Alcohol withdrawal. C. Acute sepsis. D. Pneumonia. Correct answer: B. Alcohol withdrawal. Question 24. Explanation. The client's vital signs and hallucinations suggest delirium tremens or alcohol withdrawal syndrome. Alcohol withdrawal symptoms occur when patients stop drinking or significantly decrease their alcohol intake after long-term dependence. Withdrawal has a broad range of symptoms from mild tremors to a condition called delirium tremens, which results in seizures and could progress to death if not recognized and treated promptly. Question 25. Clonidine, Catapres, can be used to treat conditions other than hypertension. Nurse Sally is aware that the following conditions might the drug be administered: A. Phencyclidine, PCP, intoxication. B. Alcohol withdrawal. C. Opiate withdrawal. D. Cocaine withdrawal. Correct answer: C. Opiate withdrawal. Question 25. Explanation. Clonidine is used as adjunctive therapy in opiate withdrawal. Symptomatic treatment in opioid withdrawal includes loperamide for diarrhea, promethazine for nausea/vomiting, and ibuprofen for myalgia. Clonidine can be given to reduce blood pressure. Opioid withdrawal syndrome is a life-threatening condition resulting from opioid dependence. Opioids are a group of drugs used for the management of severe pain. They are also commonly used as psychoactive substances around the world. Question 26. A male client with a history of cocaine addiction is admitted to the coronary care unit for evaluation of substernal chest pain. The electrocardiogram, ECG, shows a 1 mm ST segment elevation of the anteroseptal leads and T-wave inversion in leads V3 to V5. Considering the client's history of drug abuse, Nurse Greg expects the physician to prescribe A. Lidocaine, Xylocaine. B. Procainamide, Pronestal. C. Nitroglycerin, Nitrobid-4. D. Epinephrine. Correct answer: C. Nitroglycerin, Nitrobid-4. Question 26. Explanation. The elevated ST segments in this client's ECG indicate myocardial ischemia. To reverse this problem, the physician is most likely to prescribe an infusion of nitroglycerin to dilate the coronary arteries. Nitroglycerin is a vasodilatory drug used primarily to provide relief from anginal chest pain. Although nitroglycerin has a vasodilatory effect in both arteries and veins, the profound desired effects caused by nitroglycerin are primarily due to venodilation. Venodilation causes pooling of blood within the venous system, reducing preload to the heart, which causes a decrease in cardiac work, reducing anginal symptoms secondary to demand ischemia. Question 27. A 14-year-old client was brought to the clinic by her mother. Her mother expresses concern about her daughter's weight loss and constant dieting. Nurse Chris conducts a health history interview. Which of the following comments indicates that the client may be suffering from anorexia nervosa? A. I like the way I look. I just need to keep my weight down because I'm a cheerleader. B. I don't like the food my mother cooks. I eat plenty of fast food when I'm out with my friends. C. I just can't seem to get down to the weight I want to be. I'm so fat compared to other girls. D. I do diet around my periods, otherwise, I just get so bloated. Correct answer, C. I just can't seem to get down to the weight I want to be. I'm so fat compared to other girls. Question 27 Explanation. Low self-esteem is the highest risk factor for anorexia nervosa. Constant dieting to get down to a desirable weight is characteristic of the disorder. Feeling inadequate when compared to peers indicates poor self-esteem. Anorexia is also more common among teenagers. Still, people of any age can develop this eating disorder, though it's rare in those over 40. Teens may be more at risk because of all the changes their bodies go through during puberty. They may also face increased peer pressure and be more sensitive to criticism or even casual comments about weight or body shape. Question 28. Nurse Faye is aware that the drug of choice for treating Tourette syndrome? A. Fluoxetine, Prozac. B. Fluvoxamine, Movix. C. Haloperidol, Haldol. D. Paroxetine, Paxil. Correct answer, C. Haloperidol, Haldol. Question 28 Explanation. Haloperidol is the drug of choice for treating Tourette syndrome. Antipsychotic medications have been the most extensively studied. Haloperidol and Pimozide are the first-generation antipsychotics with the most data showing efficacy in reducing tic severity. However, their use is limited by potentially severe side effects such as sedation, acute dystonia, and other drug-induced movement disorders like weight gain, and prolonged QTC interval. Pimozide. Question 29. A male client tells the nurse he was involved in a car accident while he was intoxicated. What would be the most therapeutic response from Nurse Julia? A. Why didn't you get someone else to drive you? B. Tell me how you feel about the accident. C. You should know better than to drink and drive. D. I recommend that you attend an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Correct answer, B. Tell me how you feel about the accident. Question 29 Explanation. An open-ended statement or question is the most therapeutic response. It encourages the widest range of client responses, makes the client an active participant in the conversation, and shows the client that the nurse is interested in his feelings. Mix open-ended questions with focus questions. Open-ended questions may allow the patient to express their thoughts and feelings, and focused questions allow the interviewer to obtain important details with yes or no answers in a more time-efficient manner. Question 30. A male adult client voluntarily admits himself to the substance abuse unit. He confesses that he drinks 1 QT or more vodka each day and uses cocaine occasionally. Later that afternoon, he begins to show signs of alcohol withdrawal. What are some early signs of this condition? A. Vomiting, diarrhea, and bradycardia. B. Dehydration, temperature above 101 degrees Fahrenheit, 38.3 degrees Celsius, and pruritus. C. Hypertension, diaphoresis, and seizures. D. Diaphoresis, tremors, and nervousness. Correct answer, D. Diaphoresis, tremors, and nervousness. Question 30 Explanation. Alcohol withdrawal syndrome includes alcohol withdrawal, alcoholic hallucinosis, and alcohol withdrawal delirium, formerly delirium tremens. Signs of alcohol withdrawal include diaphoresis, tremors, nervousness, nausea, vomiting, malaise, increased blood pressure and pulse rate, sleep disturbance, and irritability. Question 31. When monitoring a female client recently admitted for treatment of cocaine addiction, Nurse Erin notes sudden increases in the arterial blood pressure and heart rate. To correct these problems, the nurse expects the physician to prescribe A. Norepinephrine, Lethofed, and lidocaine, xylocaine. B. Nifedipine, Procardia, and lidocaine. C. Nitroglycerin, Nitrobid-4, and Esmolol, Brevibloc. D. Nifedipine and Esmolol. Correct answer, D. Nifedipine and Esmolol. Question 31 Explanation. This client requires a vasodilator, such as nifedipine, to treat hypertension, and a beta-adrenergic blocker, such as Esmolol, to reduce the heart rate. Nifedipine is a calcium channel blocker that belongs to the dihydropyridine subclass. It is primarily used as an antihypertensive and antianginal medication. Esmolol, esmolol hydrochloride, is an intravenous cardioselective beta-1 adrenergic antagonist. Esmolol is FDA approved for short-term duration use in control of supraventricular tachycardia, such as a rapid ventricular rate in patients with atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter. Question 32. A 25-year-old client experiencing alcohol withdrawal is upset about going through detoxification. Which of the following goals is a priority? A. The client will commit to a drug-free lifestyle. B. The client will work with the nurse to remain safe. C. The client will drink plenty of fluids daily. D. The client will make a personal inventory of strength. Correct answer, B. The client will work with the nurse to remain safe. Question 32 Explanation. The priority goal in alcohol withdrawal is maintaining the client's safety. Alcohol withdrawal can range from very mild symptoms to the severe form, which is named delirium tremens. The hallmark is autonomic dysfunction resulting from the excitation of the central nervous system. Mild signs/symptoms can arise within 6 hours of alcohol cessation. If symptoms do not progress to more severe symptoms within 24 to 48 hours, the patient will likely recover. Question 33. A male client is admitted to a psychiatric facility by court order for evaluation for antisocial personality disorder. This client has a long history of initiating fights and abusing animals and recently was arrested for setting a neighbor's dog on fire. When evaluating this client for the potential for violence, Nurse Perry should assess for which behavioral clues. A. A rigid posture, restlessness, and glaring. B. Depression and physical withdrawal. C. Silence and non-compliance. D. Hypervigilance and talk of past violent acts. Correct answer, A. A rigid posture, restlessness, and glaring. Question 33 Explanation. Behavioral clues that suggest the potential for violence include a rigid posture, restlessness, glaring, a change in usual behavior, clenched hands, overtly aggressive actions, physical withdrawal, non-compliance, overreaction, hostile threats, recent alcohol ingestion or drug use, talk of past violent acts, inability to express feelings, repetitive demands and complaints, argumentativeness, profanity, disorientation, inability to focus attention, hallucinations or delusions, paranoid ideas or suspicions, and somatic complaints. Question 34. A male client is brought to the psychiatric clinic by family members, who tell the admitting nurse that the client repeatedly drives while intoxicated despite their pleas to stop. During an interview with the nurse Linda, which statement by the client most strongly supports a diagnosis of psychoactive substance abuse? A. I'm not addicted to alcohol. In fact, I can drink more than I used to without being affected. B. I only spend half of my paycheck at the bar. C. I just drink to relax after work. D. I know I've been arrested 3 times for drinking and driving, but the police are just trying to hassle me. Correct answer, D. I know I've been arrested 3 times for drinking and driving, but the police are just trying to hassle me. Question 34 Explanation. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 4th edition, diagnostic criteria for psychoactive substance abuse include a maladaptive pattern of such use, indicated either by continued use despite knowledge of having a persistent or recurrent social, occupational, psychological, or physical problem caused or exacerbated by substance abuse or recurrent use in dangerous situations, for example, while driving. Question 35. A female client with borderline personality disorder is admitted to the psychiatric unit. Initial nursing assessment reveals that the client's wrists are scratched from a recent suicide attempt. Based on this finding, the nurse Lenny should formulate a nursing diagnosis of A. Ineffective individual coping related to feelings of guilt. B. Situational low self-esteem related to feelings of loss of control. C. Risk for violence, self-directed related to impulsive mutilating acts. D. Risk for violence, directed toward others related to verbal threats. Correct answer, C. Risk for violence, self-directed related to impulsive mutilating acts. Question 35 Explanation. The predominant behavioral characteristic of the client with borderline personality disorder is impulsiveness, especially of a physically self-destructive sort. The observation that the client has scratched wrists doesn't substantiate the other options. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is one of 4 cluster B disorders that include borderline, antisocial, narcissistic, and histrionic. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is characterized by hypersensitivity to rejection and resulting instability of interpersonal relationships, self-image, affect, and behavior. Question 36. A male client recently admitted to the hospital with sharp, substernal chest pain suddenly complains of palpitations. Nurse Ryan notes a rise in the client's arterial blood pressure and a heart rate of 144 beats/minute. On further questioning, the client admits to having used cocaine recently after previously denying use of the drug. The nurse concludes that the client is at high risk for which complication of cocaine use? A. Coronary artery spasm. B. bradyarrhythmias. C. Neurobehavioral deficits. D. Panic disorder. Correct answer, A. Coronary artery spasm. Question 36. Explanation. Cocaine use may cause such cardiac complications as coronary artery spasm, myocardial infarction, dilated cardiomyopathy, acute heart failure, endocarditis, and sudden death. Cocaine blocks reuptake of norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine, causing an excess of these neurotransmitters at postsynaptic receptor sites. Cocaine and its metabolites may cause arterial vasoconstriction hours after use. Epicardial coronary arteries are especially vulnerable to these effects, leading to a decreased myocardial oxygen supply. Question 37. A male client is being admitted to the substance abuse unit for alcohol detoxification. As part of the intake interview, the nurse asks him when he had his last alcoholic drink. He says that he had his last drink 6 hours before admission. Based on this response, Nurse Lorena should expect early withdrawal symptoms to A. Begin after 7 days. B. Not occur at all because the time period for their occurrence has passed. C. Begin anytime within the next 1 to 2 days. D. Begin within 2 to 7 days. Correct answer, C. Begin anytime within the next 1 to 2 days. Question 37. Explanation. Acute withdrawal symptoms from alcohol may begin 6 hours after the client has stopped drinking and peak 1 to 2 days later. Delirium tremens may occur 2 to 4 days, even up to 7 days, after the last drink. Moderate symptoms include alcohol withdrawal seizures, REM fits, that can occur 12 to 24 hours after cessation of alcohol and are typically generalized in nature. There is a 3% incidence of status epilepticus in these patients. About 50% of patients who have had a withdrawal seizure will progress to delirium tremens. Question 38. Nurse Helen is assigned to care for a client with anorexia nervosa. Initially, which nursing intervention is most appropriate for this client? A. Providing one-on-one supervision during meals and for 1 hour afterward. B. Letting the client eat with other clients to create a normal mealtime atmosphere. C. Trying to persuade the client to eat and thus restore nutritional balance. D. Giving the client as much time to eat as desired. Correct answer, A. Providing one-on-one supervision during meals and for 1 hour afterward. Question 38. Explanation. Because the client with anorexia nervosa may discard food or induce vomiting in the bathroom, the nurse should provide one-on-one supervision during meals and for 1 hour afterward. Provide one-to-one supervision and have a patient with bulimia remain in the day room area with no bathroom privileges for a specified period, 1 hour, following eating, if contracting is unsuccessful. Prevents vomiting during and after eating. The patient may desire food and use a binge purge syndrome to maintain weight. Note, the patient may purge for the first time in response to the establishment of a weight gain program. Question 39. A female client begins to experience alcoholic hallucinosis. Nurse Joy is aware that the best nursing intervention at this time? A. Keeping the client restrained in bed. B. Checking the client's blood pressure every 15 minutes and offering juices. C. Providing a quiet environment and administering medication as needed and prescribed. D. Restraining the client and measuring blood pressure every 30 minutes. Correct answer, C. Providing a quiet environment and administering medication as needed and prescribed. Question 39. Explanation. Manifestations of alcoholic hallucinosis are best treated by providing a quiet environment for reducing stimulation and administering prescribed central nervous system depressants in dosages that control symptoms without causing oversedation. Encourage the patient to rest by controlling minimal interpersonal contact with the patient. Decrease environmental stimuli with controlled lighting, and provide a calm, quiet private room. The individualized, Symptom-triggered approach to benzodiazepine use satisfies the need to use medication only when needed and may also reduce inpatient hospital stays. Benzodiazepines stimulate GABA receptors, causing a decrease in neuronal activity resulting in sedation. Question 40. Nurse Bella is aware that assessment finding is most consistent with early alcohol withdrawal. A. Heart rate of 120 to 140 beats/minute. B. Heart rate of 50 to 60 beats/minute. C. Blood pressure of 1/170ths of a millimeter of mercury. D. Blood pressure of 140/80ths of a millimeter of mercury. Correct answer, A. Heart rate of 120 to 140 beats/minute. Question 40. Explanation. Tachycardia, a heart rate of 120 to 140 beats/minute, is a common sign of alcohol withdrawal. Blood pressure may be labeled throughout withdrawal, fluctuating at different stages. Hypertension typically occurs in early withdrawal. Hypotension, although rare during the early withdrawal stages, may occur in later stages. Hypotension is associated with cardiovascular collapse and most commonly occurs in clients who don't receive treatment. The nurse should monitor the client's vital signs carefully throughout the entire alcohol withdrawal process. Question 41. Nurse Amy is aware that the client is at highest risk for suicide. A. One who appears depressed frequently thinks of dying and gives away all personal possessions. B. One who plans a violent death and has the means readily available. C. One who tells others that he or she might do something if life doesn't get better soon. D. One who talks about wanting to die. Correct answer, B. One who plans a violent death and has the means readily available. Question 41. Explanation. The client at highest risk for suicide is one who plans a violent death, for example, by gunshot, jumping off a bridge, or hanging, has a specific plan, for example, after the spouse leaves for work, and has the means readily available, for example, a rifle hidden in the garage. Several suicide-related demographic factors often occur in the same person. For example, if a male police officer with major depression and a significant problem with alcohol commits suicide using his service revolver, which, unfortunately, happens not infrequently, 5 risk factors are involved: sex, occupation, depression, alcohol, and gun availability. Question 42. Nurse Penny is aware that the following medical conditions are commonly found in clients with bulimia nervosa. A. Allergies. B. Cancer. C. Diabetes mellitus. D. Hepatitis A. Correct answer, C. Diabetes mellitus. Question 42. Explanation. Bulimia nervosa can lead to many complications, including diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. Girls and young women with type 1 diabetes have about twice the risk of developing eating disorders as their peers without diabetes. This may be because of the weight changes that can occur with insulin therapy and good metabolic control and the extra attention people with diabetes must pay to what they eat. Question 43. Kellen, a high school student, is referred to the school nurse for suspected substance abuse. Following the nurse's assessment and interventions, what would be the most desirable outcome? A. The student discusses conflicts over drug use. B. The student accepts a referral to a substance abuse counselor. C. The student agrees to inform his parents of the problem. D. The student reports increased comfort with making choices. Correct answer, B. The student accepts a referral to a substance abuse counselor. Question 43. Explanation. All of the outcomes stated are desirable, however, the best outcome is that the student would agree to seek the assistance of a professional substance abuse counselor. The basic goal for a client in any substance abuse treatment setting is to reduce the risk of harm from continued use of substances. The greatest degree of harm reduction would obviously result from abstinence, however, the specific goal for each individual client is determined by his consumption pattern, the consequences of his use, and the setting in which the brief intervention is delivered. Question 44. A male client who reportedly consumes 1 QT of vodka daily is admitted for alcohol detoxification. To try to prevent alcohol withdrawal symptoms, Dr. Smith is most likely to prescribe which drug? A. Clozapine, Clozaril. B. Thiothexine, Navon. C. Lorazepam, Ativan. D. Lithium carbonate, Escalip. Correct answer, C. Lorazepam, Ativan. Question 44. Explanation. The best choice for preventing or treating alcohol withdrawal symptoms is lorazepam, a benzodiazepine. Lorazepam is a benzodiazepine medication developed by D.J. Richards. It went on the market in the United States in 1977. Lorazepam has common use as the sedative and anxiolytic of choice in the inpatient setting owing to its fast, 1 to 3 minute, onset of action when administered intravenously. Lorazepam is also one of the few sedative hypnotics with a relatively clean side effect profile. FF label, non-FDA approved, uses for lorazepam include rapid tranquilization of the agitated patient, alcohol withdrawal delirium, alcohol withdrawal syndrome, insomnia, panic disorder, delirium, chemotherapy-associated anticipatory nausea and vomiting, adjunct or breakthrough, as well as psychogenic catatonia. Question 45. A male client is being treated for alcoholism. After a family meeting, the client's spouse asks the nurse about ways to help the family deal with the effects of alcoholism. Nurse Lily should suggest that the family join which organization? A. Al-Anon. B. Make Today Count. C. Emotions Anonymous. D. Alcoholics Anonymous. Correct answer, A. Al-Anon. Question 45 Explanation. Al-Anon is an organization that assists family members to share common experiences and increase their understanding of alcoholism. Al-Anon members come to understand problem drinking as a family illness that affects everyone in the family. By listening to Al-Anon members speak at Al-Anon meetings, they can hear how they came to understand their own role in this family illness. This insight put them in a better position to play a positive role in the family's future. Question 46. A female client is admitted to the psychiatric clinic for treatment of anorexia nervosa. To promote the client's physical health, nurse should plan to A. Severely restrict the client's physical activities. B. Weigh the client daily, after the evening meal. C. Monitor vital signs, serum electrolyte levels, and acid-base balance. D. Instruct the client to keep an accurate record of food and fluid intake. Correct answer, C. Monitor vital signs, serum electrolyte levels, and acid-base balance. Question 46 Explanation. An anorexic client who requires hospitalization is in poor physical condition from starvation and may die as a result of arrhythmias, hypothermia, malnutrition, infection, or cardiac abnormalities secondary to electrolyte imbalances. Therefore, monitoring the client's vital signs, serum electrolyte level, and acid-base balance is crucial. Question 47. Kevin is remanded by the courts for psychiatric treatment. His police record, which dates to his early teenage years, includes delinquency, running away, auto theft, and vandalism. He dropped out of school at age 16 and has been living on his own since then. His history suggests maladaptive coping, which is associated with A. Antisocial personality disorder, B. Borderline personality disorder, C. Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, D. Narcissistic personality disorder. Correct answer, A. Antisocial personality disorder. Question 47 Explanation. The client's history of delinquency, running away from home, vandalism, and dropping out of school are characteristic of antisocial personality disorder. This maladaptive coping pattern is manifested by a disregard for societal norms of behavior and an inability to relate meaningfully to others. Antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, is a deeply ingrained and rigid dysfunctional thought process that focuses on social irresponsibility with exploitive, delinquent, and criminal behavior with no remorse. Disregard for and the violation of others' rights are common manifestations of this personality disorder, which displays symptoms that include failure to conform to the law, inability to sustain consistent employment, deception, manipulation for personal gain, and incapacity to form stable relationships. Question 48. McCoy and Helen seek emergency crisis intervention because he slapped her repeatedly the night before. The husband indicates that his childhood was marred by an abusive relationship with his father. When intervening with this couple, Nurse Jerry knows they are at risk for repeated violence because the husband A. has only moderate impulse control, B. denies feelings of jealousy or possessiveness, C. has learned violence as an acceptable behavior, D. feels secure in his relationship with his wife. Correct answer, C. has learned violence as an acceptable behavior. Question 48 Explanation. Family violence usually is a learned behavior, and violence typically leads to further violence, putting this couple at risk. Unfortunately, each form of family violence begets interrelated forms of violence, and the cycle of abuse is often continued from exposed children into their adult relationships, and finally to the care of the elderly. Domestic violence is thought to be underreported. Domestic violence affects the victim, families, co-workers, and community. It causes diminished psychological and physical health, decreases the quality of life, and results in decreased productivity. Question 49. A client whose husband just left her has a recurrence of anorexia nervosa. Nurse Vic caring for her realizes that this exacerbation of anorexia nervosa results from the client's effort to A. Manipulate her husband. B. Gain control of one part of her life. C. Commit suicide. D. Live up to her mother's expectations. Correct answer, B. Gain control of one part of her life. Question 49. Explanation. By refusing to eat, a client with anorexia nervosa is unconsciously attempting to gain control over the only part of her life she feels she can control. Assist the patient to confront changes associated with puberty and sexual fears. Provide sex education as necessary. Encourage personal development program, preferably in a group setting. Provide information about the proper application of makeup and grooming. Learning about methods to enhance personal appearance may be helpful to a long-range sense of self-esteem and image. Feedback from others can promote feelings of self-worth. Question 50. An infant was 21 inches at birth. How many inches should the infant be at 6 months? A. 30 to 36 inches. B. 24 to 27 inches. C. 23 to 25 inches. D. 22 to 24 inches. Correct answer, B. 24 to 27 inches. Question 50. Explanation. At 6 months the infant should grow about half to 1 inch every month. Therefore, if the infant was 21 inches at birth, he or she should be around 24 to 27 inches at 6 months.